it's just not very populated.
Going live in 15 seconds.
Okay. Get it together, people.
Am I jumping into the intro?
Yeah, you're John Taylor. You do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All Things Portland podcast. I am John Taylor, your host, along with my lovely co-host, Christina Bullock, and our awesome guest, John Bull with ColorMax Steel Privacy Fencing. And how are you guys doing today?
It's good. It's good to be back. Happy to have John Bull here with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to have you on. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things today, but John's going to talk to us about his company and maybe some of his other companies as well. We're going to talk about Portland and the infamous Portland package, as we always do, and all the great things to do around the Portland area. And then we're going to talk a little bit of real estate towards the end, like we always do. So that's what we have in store for today's show. We're excited to be back. It's been a little bit. And so, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about ColorMax and what you guys are doing? And
so ColorMax is something that I sort of discovered back in 2016. It was a product that was hugely seen in Australia. It's used as a boundary fence over there. And so I basically had this vision of bringing the product to the USA. And so 2018, I went to a couple of trade shows to see if anyone was doing it and found out that no one was doing it. So they could be more intrigued with the product. And then I basically, looked at roll forming it here in this country. But, obviously we'd have to get the machines and the coils and more of a setup. And that wasn't available. So I ended up going down to Australia, talking to Max, who's the actual guy down there that owns a well-known product down there. And I asked him if I could bring it to the USA.
So let me interrupt real quick. What is ColorMax exactly?
ColorMax,
tell us about the fencing itself.
Yeah, ColorMax is a steel privacy fencing. It's a fence product that's made out of zinc alveolum. It's baked on color on both sides. The product's actually produced by ColorBond. They actually make the product. And ColorMax is a broker out of Australia that produces and roll forms the product for Australia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
it's just so everybody knows, it's beautiful fencing. I mean, it really is.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
I sort of researched this more, and it's basically a product I think that Americans need. Considering what's available out there, it's a product that is a big DIY product, so you can install it yourself. They can save you dollars as well, and but it's just got all these great things about it. And the reason why I pursued it, is basically again that no one has it, so it's just great to bring a product in that people need.
Right.
That people don't know about and what the rest of the world is using, as in fencing products.
And it's not only beautiful, it's super functional. And tell us about some of the.
Is it
functions.
green?
Yeah.
Is it considered green?
Yeah, it's non-combustible, so it's basically it's fire resistant. So we want to try and get it in the high risk fire areas. It's low maintenance. Basically you just got to hose it down every 6 months. It's like a car. So it's metal, it has a baked on color. So it's just washing it down with a hose before the grandparents come around.
Right.
It's like, hey, wash the fence.
Shined up. And
it's a bit of a chore. Like in Australia, it's like, over here, it's like, wash the car,
Yeah.
It's like, get out there and wash the fence down. So
Is that the thing out there with
it's a thing out there, wash the fence down. Grandma's coming around.
Grandma's coming, wash the fence.
Yeah.
Gotta sparkle the house up. That's funny.
Put the kids to work, right?
Put the kids to work, yeah.
Yeah, I like it because I have a wood fence, and as soon as I saw it, I just immediately thought that would be amazing to not have to stain after every winter.
It's virtually maintenance free. You know what I mean? I think hosing it down. I noticed here in Portland that the spiders like it. They'll put some spider webs on there.
Oh.
And basically because of the dark color, it sort of attracts the heat. So the spiders love it. But again, it's just getting out there and hosing the spider webs down.
So that's your biggest concern.
Basically about the whole thing.
Not that everywhere in Portland, so nothing out of the norm.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the colors. It comes in different colors. We provide only 3 colors at the moment, but eventually we will bring other colors in. And that's something that we're always going to be working on is colors, and blending in with the landscape. You've got, stuff we're sending to New Mexico and to Colorado where sort of those colors will hopefully be blending in with what's out there,
Nice.
Questions we get is like, what's it like with the wind? It holds up to like I think it's 82 to 90 mile per hour winds.
Okay.
That's what it'll hold up to. Anything more than that, I think any fence would blow down.
Right.
So things like that.
Yeah,
Any
it
material.
starts getting over that. It's coming down no matter what.
It's
right?
coming down, yeah. So, but yeah, colours are everything, and they're still working that out in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
What colours are good over there? I mean, the colours over there are not the colours that we like. And the first colour they sent was like a vanilla colour, and we put one up out there in Happy Valley, and it just didn't, it looked great, but it's just something to get used to. The neighbour liked it. Yeah. So we'll see how
it's different aesthetics than what we're used to out here. So
different aesthetics.
You don't have to wash it as often.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Are you finding
you
people
are? It's like a black truck. You're washing that thing every week. Like, gotta wash the fence again this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works for you though.
Yeah.
Do you find that's what are your biggest pushbacks for anybody making the transition from a normal wood fence to the ColorMax? Like what?
It's like a car. If you really want to go up to it and scratch it, you've got to scratch up to it.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a really good touch-up paint where you can just sort of touch it up a little bit that you won't even see it.
That's nice.
But it has a good warranty. It's a warranty goes for 10 years, so it won't fade. The paint won't chip off. And in Australia, there's still fences that have been up for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between a metal fence and a vinyl fence is that you can paint a metal fence, but you can't paint a vinyl fence.
Right.
So vinyl's been around in America for more than 20 years. And I think people will just, hopefully they're ready for a change.
Right.
Well, I think the vinyl fences that I've seen anyway, they seem to, attract a lot of moss, and then you start getting green color, and it's not a good look after a couple of years.
Yeah, it looks janky. Yeah.
I mean, a 10-year warranty is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Looking at.
So you import it from Australia. You're from New Zealand.
Yeah, but don't tell any New Zealanders.
How did you end up in Portland?
I basically ended up in Portland. Originally, I first came to America. I came to Chicago and played a bit of rugby up there, and I got into building self-storage facilities. And then from there, on the way back to New Zealand, I went to Los Angeles and started building self-storage facilities down there. 3 weeks turned into 9 years. I met a female and stayed a little bit longer than I should have.
Does it have to do with the girl?
Yeah.
It always is a girl.
Shocker. So I stayed a little bit longer, and because the seasons down there are always blue sky all the time. I'm from New Zealand, and I picked Portland because it has seasons. And I like that. The mountains are right there, the sea's right there, so it's got everything you need in a great city. Plus, Portland as a metro city is quite tight, and it's quite sort of like compact. And coming from LA, which was 2 hours to drive anywhere, here it's like 25 minutes over town. You've got everything here in a small facility, which is a lot like New Zealand. And a lot of New Zealand cities are very similar. Yeah. So picked it up and came here in 2005, and I love it here. And I can't believe that there's not more people living here. When I first came here, it was like, it was from coming from LA. It's like, where is everyone?
Yeah.
But I guess those numbers are changing. And
but yeah, I think 2005 and on, it started really kind of all of a sudden the traffic got a little bit worse. But I mean, it's still not 2 hours to get to anywhere.
It still feels like that small town feel here.
Yeah.
And main reason is the quality of life here. Anyone should know that. And that's why people do want to move here because of that. More time in your backyard than sitting behind a wheel.
Yeah. Speaking of LA, your fence down along those coastal areas. You said it earlier, but high risk fire areas. So do you find? I think people should know that you can supply and even build down there, right? You have crews going to different areas. You said earlier. So
we try to get different builders in different places to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about California as the high risk fire areas, it's non-combustible, so we want to get in places. We've got some deals going in Santa Rosa, Paradise, California, places where stuff is burnt down completely.
Yeah.
And why rebuild or something that's combustible?
Right. I have family all in California, so
it seems like there's a huge need for it in those areas. And,
so we started distribution in Los Angeles probably about like 3 months ago, and we've got our materials stored down there now. So we're gradually getting in Southern California. We've done like San Diego, places like Costa Mesa, and we're just going to keep feeding it into these neighborhoods so people notice it. And find out to get discovered and find out who we are.
Yeah.
So we're doing what we're doing down there is what we started here in Portland, 2 years ago. So it's going well, and with the coronavirus, I'll be coming in, things went a bit crazy down there, so I got a little bit quiet, but things are picking up again now.
Nice.
And but that's good for us to ship the materials anywhere in California now.
Yeah, I think that's important for everybody. I mean, just having family who lived and knowing people that lived in the Ventura foothills where the fire did affect and take down. I mean, this would be an amazing thing to have. Like you said, why encourage something that's combustible?
Yeah, we've got some going up in Malibu, and we're burned down as well. They had some major fires, so we've got some stuff going there that's happening very shortly.
Or if it can even keep the fire back for a while, right? Before
it
takes much.
Yeah, it takes like a lot high temperature for steel to melt. But a bushfire, coming through on one side will definitely stop it. You know what I mean? And give you time to get all your stuff out of the house, I guess. Maybe even stop the fire completely. You know what I mean? But when you talk fire resistant, it's one of those areas you can't say it's fireproof. So you can't get a fire.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables that
fire can
might
jump.
slow it down enough to where the wind changes and it saves your house, or like you said, it gives you enough time to at least get your stuff out of the house.
Yeah, but there was articles, in Australia on bushfires that white collar bund fencing is a good choice in those sort of areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just we want to let people know that's available here now in the USA.
And how do we find you?
Basically, looking up our website, going to www.colormaxna.com.
Okay.
And
ColorMax, what was it?
NA.com.
NA?
Yeah, we sort of shortened it down. It was ColorMax North America.
Got it.
And then we put the NA in there just to sort of shorten it down.
ColorMaxNA.com.
Yeah.
And are you on social media as well?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram. There's a ton of photos of stuff we're always doing, and I post stories on there. So that's been a huge help.
Okay, great. So what's your Instagram?
ColorMaxNorthAmerica.com or ColorMax North America on IG.
Yeah.
And once you go to the website, there's a submission form on there. And basically with the submission form, you leave all your details, all the measurements you have, and then it'll come back to our sales guys. They'll work up a submission, send it back to you, and if you okay it, you go forward with it, then we invoice you.
You have to pay.
Yeah.
You have to pay,
So it gets delivered. You have a crew out there. They can
Yeah.
choose anybody they want to install it. So it's pretty.
Yeah, but we work with some installers that do discover us, mainly through Instagram, and we've had, we had one installer fly out from Ohio, came and saw us for the day, and then flew back. And then we sort of brainwashed him, how good the product was, and we've been sending him small orders, and he'll just start installing it around Columbus, and it's just a matter of crossing fingers that the consumer likes it.
One of the other things, it is beautiful. But I've seen pictures on Instagram with the metal or the steel and the wood combined. So that's really pretty.
So good. It's just an amazing modern look.
Yeah, it's something that the Australians didn't want us to do because it's supposed to be an all metal fence.
Right.
Of course, with any other wood products, they'll deteriorate after a while, but it is interchangeable.
Right.
So those wood products you can take out. We did start doing wood posts. And it looks great, but obviously the metal's going to outlast the wood.
Yeah, but those are pressure treated wood posts, right?
Yeah,
so they're gonna
as long as they're installed right.
Yeah.
And you basically slope the concrete away at the bottom so the water flows away. It'll prolong the life of the post.
Yeah.
But yeah, wood and metal.
Yeah.
Good
Looks
contrast.
pretty.
Yeah.
Looks really pretty.
And we're blending both stuff in, so not totally getting away from the wood. And it sort of breaks it up as well, with the vertical, putting something in that's horizontal.
Right.
So
looks really nice.
Yeah.
Starting to see it pop up all over Portland. So every time I drive by one, I'm like, that's John's.
Yeah. People love the 7-foot high fences. When we put the wood baseboard at the bottom, that helps it get up to that 7-foot high.
Right.
And that's what people want, privacy.
Yeah, I mean, there's that little foot there where people can see from their windows over, and that would take care of that. And as a homeowner as well, fixing a part of the fence, you just take out that whole section as opposed to it's just one solid piece, right? Is that
so it's basically 2 posts, 2 rails, top rail and bottom rail, and 3 interlocking sheets, and it's just held on by screws on the rails. So the sheets inside the rails basically move and contract like an accordion.
Yeah.
So that way it doesn't twist and bow. And if you wanted to take that one section out, just take those screws out, take the rails and panels out, and you've got an 8-foot gap to get whatever you want to get through.
Oh, even bringing stuff in the back.
Yeah, and then you can put it back in there again, like it was before.
That's
so
pretty darn easy and attractive as a
Yeah.
single female homeowner as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
that's
no,
all on me, and I do not like taking care of the fence
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful, functional, and
Yeah.
easy to install.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
And the best of all, for us right now is to keep getting into different areas so people can see how it performs at the temperature. Like we've got some going up. We've had put some in like Moab, Utah.
Uh-huh.
So that's the sort of place where I think is needed because everything out there just deteriorates in 115-degree heat.
Yeah.
So the stuff that we have there now is performing well. And hopefully from that more customers will call us, requesting.
How about on the coastal towns, rust?
Yeah,
Rust
good question. Yeah, I had a client that called today. Will it rust? So the warranty covers everything that's not cut. So when you cut a steel panel with like an abrasive blade and then you expose it to the sea, that area is going to rust. So like any metal products, you're supposed to use a primer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you don't cut anything at all and it's all pre-dipped and pre-baked, it won't rust.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so there is a marine grade for it.
Yeah.
And again, it's just a matter of getting it out there in those coastal towns to see how it performs.
So we have to take a
Absolutely.
quick break and hear from one of our sponsors. But when we come back, if you want, is there anything else we could talk about ColorMax before we jump into Portland?
Not really, just consider it really.
Consider it
as an alternative product to use once you tear your old one down, and which I call retrofit.
Yeah.
Retrofit your backyard and bringing something new and modern and maintenance free. Yeah.
So no, I like that.
Yeah,
So-
and obviously brighten up your backyard with a coloured fence.
Yeah, there
You
you
know
go.
what I mean?
I'm sure
So-
the flowers just pop, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
That
I mean, with the warmth and everything from the heat that comes off the fence, I'm pretty sure the plants would love it.
Yeah.
And just change the whole look of your backyard, really. Painting it like some sort of, whatever colour you choose.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so,
good. Give it a try.
Give it a try and
Reach out to ColorMax, figure out if it's something that would work for your home. And we're just going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we'll talk about the infamous Portland package. John's infamous Portland package. So-
He must
using
know other
them.
people though.
Yeah.
The guy called me yesterday that was looking for, looking at one of the big properties we have out in Corbett.
Yeah.
He's a fence guy. He's looking to expand his fence company.
I've got one in Hood River now. In Hood River, I've got one on a really busy corner.
I feel like it would be huge down in California. That area, because it is along the coast, and the sea air is rough,
Yeah.
and then the fires too. So
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding that one person that obviously has the money to buy the product, to take it to distribute it in that area.
I'm trying to think who, yeah,
And
he was Pedersen fencing who we worked for forever, but they were old.
it's hard. Like, example, met someone at the show in Sacramento.
Oh, where are we at? Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to get people involved in stuff when they're already selling, a ton of people.
Right.
So we're a threat to what we're already selling. It's hard to bring the product in. Like, I know, man.
He's the new guy.
He's the new guy, yeah. So
And it's a different look. Like it's totally
Completely.
different. So, and it's a little like, not it. It feels more modern right off the. But then I've seen it put in
Yeah.
other instances where,
yeah,
okay, wait, maybe it's not just modern. It can kind of blend in the back too and just look
yeah,
clean. I think it depends on color at that point, right?
yeah. It does definitely on the color. Yeah,
Mhm.
blending in will say like a house is 1900s. This thing in the back, it's gonna definitely not suit what the house
Right.
is gonna look like. But I think with contemporary houses that architects are building, it'd be cool to bring that into the mix.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and using low maintenance products over the whole house, low maintenance fence.
Let me. I wonder if green canopy would be interested.
They might. Actually.
Yeah.
They did get one
The builder,
to
they're
chat
green.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
And we are back, everyone, and we are going to chat about
the infamous Portland package.
Portland package, and John Bull's take on the infamous
John's
Portland
Bull is a
package.
good time.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
surprisingly,
He knows a lot of fun things to do in Portland. So tell us,
Yeah.
if you were going to bring an out-of-town guest, what would be your Portland package?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
I think Silver Falls down there in Salem was definitely a must to go visit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good hike. I think it's 14 miles.
that is a great hike.
Yeah, it's a good hike, and it's up and down, and it'll test you. I don't
Is
care what
it-
anyone says.
So you get there
It's a good
early,
workout,
obviously.
You get there really early, and if
Pack
you
for the day.
pack some lunch and walk that 14 miles because it's up and down, rolling. Some steep parts, but the wolf
Kid
was
friendly.
kid friendly. Big
Okay.
time, yeah, take them down there.
Pet friendly.
I think it's pet friendly. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just I don't know. Like I think the waterfalls will just take your breath away. It's just they're right there in your face, and there's I don't know how many of them there are, but it's just like you're walking on this trail, and it's just waterfall after waterfall.
They keep
after waterfall.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah, they keep coming. And there's little parts where you can get in where if you don't want to walk the whole thing, there's places where you can sort of take a shortcut and then go straight to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So initial,
Shortcut, yeah,
little
that's what I'm
shortcut,
talking about.
your little shimmy, you know what I mean? Like,
So you don't have to do
I
14
want
miles.
a 7-mile hike.
yeah, get the photo with the gram.
Right.
Yeah, I just
get
want the photo.
photos and then
Yeah.
take the shortcut out of there.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good place to go check out.
That's been on my
Yeah.
to-do list for way too long.
Yeah, it's
So
not too far
yeah.
away. It's probably about an hour drive.
It's
Yeah.
not that
Straight
far.
shot,
It's just south of Portland
Yeah.
and easy to get to.
Yeah.
I imagine springtime here, those waterfalls
Is it-
are going to be incredible too. as
Yeah.
Things
I
start
haven't been there.
melting.
Is it packed or is it
Not
hard,
really.
hard for parking or?
Not really. I think if you get there pretty early, and get a park, the car park's pretty big.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of tourists that go down there. But it's the sort of place that I think is promoted that well, as a cool place to go to.
I'm sad I've been here for 14 years and have not
There you
made
go.
it,
Yeah, I think
That's
everybody goes to
ridiculous.
Multnomah Falls, but
Multnomah Falls, yeah.
Silver Falls is.
which is beautiful.
Yeah. And there's a couple of good hikes out there on the gorge too, where there's some other waterfalls out there as well.
Yeah,
So I think that's a good place
there's
to
some great
go.
ones.
Yeah, take people out there, and like I said, it's close, so it's not too far to get to.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Silver
Yeah.
Falls, you're gonna take your guests to Silver Falls.
Silver
Where
Falls.
else? What other
Um,
highlights of Portland are you gonna?
I'll definitely, if you want to take across, over across the border into Washington,
Yeah.
go check out Mount St. Helens, which is an active volcano. A couple of years ago, we drove out there. We just pulled over on the side of the road, and we had a barbecue with the volcano in the background.
Yeah.
A nice day. That was pretty cool. And while you're over there, go visit 8 caves.
8 caves.
8 caves, yeah. And it's basically one long cave that you walk into, and it just keeps going and going. And you take torches with you so you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
But then once you get down to the very end, it gets smaller and smaller, and then you get down to the very end, and then you turn around and come back.
Sounds a little creepy, no?
That's creepy, yeah.
You get a little like.
yeah.
How far north is that into Washington?
I'd say probably about an hour drive from Portland.
So it's close to Mount St.
Yeah.
Helens.
I've never heard of 8 caves, so I appreciate that.
So if you're not from Portland, Mount St. Helens was it's a beautiful mountain to look at still, but it was once it was twice as big, a very majestic mountain that May 18th of 1980 blew its top and caused a lot of chaos here in the Northwest.
Check it out now. It might not be there in a couple of years.
You never know.
Did you get ash in New Zealand?
We probably did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it
went worldwide. I know that.
Yeah, that's why everything's so green and fertile here.
Yeah.
Everything grows really well.
Yeah, after the volcanic ash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to live in Beaverton there, and I chucked in some grapes, seedless grapes, and it just went wild out there. You know what I mean? So I guess the soil out there is pretty good to grow grapes, and that's why obviously the wine's good here too. You know.
Never even thought about it.
There is some good wine.
This guy is knowledgeable.
Yeah, that's another good thing is the wine.
The wine.
Do you have a favorite winery that you go to, or all of them are great?
They're all good.
Yeah, they are. We are really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Pinot is great stuff, you know. No, I mean, there's so many good ones to go to, and that's another good thing is the wine trails out there. You know, I think at Carlton there's one where you can